fellow book lovers, welcome back to the Bibliovert channel. My name is Jacqueline, and today is going to be a reading vlog, except I'm not sure which book I'm going to be reading yet. So I have put a poll over on our Instagram stories, letting our followers decide between two books. If you would like to follow us on Instagram, check us out at the Bibliovertpodcast. But the two book choices I have given are The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab and The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So these are two books that obviously I have not read yet. However, I have heard really great things about them. From what I know about them, which is not a lot, is they both seem to kind of have that similar lyrical writing. So that's pretty much everything that I know about these two books. I have tried to stay away from spoilers. I hear that they're both absolutely amazing and really, really great. So regardless of which one gets chosen, I am super, super excited. So I'm going to keep checking the poll over the next couple of minutes and I'll let you know which one gets chosen. All right, so the count is in and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue has won. So this is the book that I'm going to be reading. I am super, super excited. I've been looking forward to this for a really long time. This is the exclusive edition from Owl Crate, and I think it's beautiful. I'm a big fan of rose gold, so I really like the detailing that's on it, but this is what I'll be reading. I know the overall premise of the story. I have heard that the end hurts. I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to be like overhyped for me and that I'm not going to end up enjoying it as much as I want to. I've heard that there are some parts that are really slow, but the writing is really beautiful, very flowery, and that you enjoy the story, but the plot, not a whole lot. Like it's not a quick plot. So as a plot-focused reader, this could be interesting, but nevertheless, I'm really excited. I am in need of a good cry, so I think this will be good. I'm kind of expecting this to potentially take me a couple days / a week to read. So we'll see how this video goes. I'm intrigued to see how it's going to end up, but I'm excited. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so it's been a couple days and I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling. I am about 100 pages into The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'll start with the things that I do like. The writing is stunning, exquisite. The way that V.E. Schwab has been able to paint this concept in this world, and the anguish and the longing and the desire, and the writing is very flowery, practically poetic. It's practically poetic, and it's just absolutely stunning. I feel like I am getting a little bit bogged down by the writing, but you cannot deny that it is absolutely beautiful. I also really love the concept of this book, that a deal that was made in desperation without thinking about the consequences has led to a life of 300 years and really a life subjugated to loneliness. And just this idea, this concept is just really, really beautiful. But on to the things that I don't like. I'm having a little bit of a hard time liking Addie. Even though we've had 100 pages in her mind where we've had multiple storylines, multiple centuries of her life, she just is very one-dimensional for me so far. The only thing I think I know about her is that she really likes art and that she has freckles that look like stars, apparently. And if those are kind of the only two things that are getting reiterated to the magnitude that they are, there's just really not much for me to like about her, just because we're not really seeing anything. But I did just get to a part where it splits into dual POV. So I am excited about that. And I have talked to a bunch of people so far, and they have said the first 200 pages, it's hard to work through. But once you do, the book really picks up and it gets really good. So I'm definitely going to keep it pushing on, and I am still wanting to see where this story goes. But I do have a bit of a qualm that it takes over half of the book to get to a part where it's actually starting to be good. So like, I think I am a little bit bummed about that, just because it's just boring. Like, I'm really bored. It's really easy to put down this book. It's really easy to walk away from it. I think if I wasn't doing this for a video, I would have just like stopped reading it and just like not been interested to like, I just have no like desire to want to finish it. So, but because of people I trust that have told me and different things like that, I'm going to finish it, but it just, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I am halfway to the halfway point and hopefully it'll start getting good. So I will be checking back in with you later, probably around that 200 page point, because I have a feeling I'm going to eat like every single one of my words that I've just said about being boring and different things like that. So I am willing to admit that I can be wrong. So we'll see just how wrong I am. But 100 pages in, my thoughts so far, beautiful writing, but I'm very bored. So let's continue on, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I'm about 230 pages into Addie, and I'm going to admit I'm liking the plot more. It has certainly picked up, which I'm grateful for. We have met Henry and kind of have a little bit more of his backstory, and I really like him as a character. There's been a little bit of a plot twist, and I did see it coming. However, I really like it, and I'm pleased with this turn of events. I'm still not loving Addie as a main character. I just wish there was a little bit more to her. She kind of seems like a little bit of a flat character for me, but I am fully expecting to have my heart broken by the end of this book and be crying. So I would say that right now, it's like maybe a 3-star read. Again, like it's fine. Like, I'm not loving it by any means. I think the writing is really beautiful. I think the story in of itself like should be really captivating for me. However, like, it's just not quite there for me. But maybe it will be. Maybe the like last 200 pages will be really fabulous. So anyway, withholding my judgment for now, but that's the midway point. That's kind of my updates and my thoughts on that. So I'll continue reading and catch you up at the end. I am determined to finish this book tonight. I'm on page 324. I have a little over 100 pages left. And I'm kind of back to being bored with it a little bit. I don't know. Like, I'm really just wondering if it was overhyped for me. And like, there are a lot of reasons for it to be hyped up. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm just not in the mood for it or what, but I'm just not vibing with it. However, it has taken me days to finish this book, and I just really want it to be done. So I'm going to press on. I am determined to finish it tonight. And again, I'm fully expecting these last 100 pages to rip out my soul. So I'm prepared for tears. I'm prepared to feel devastated. I have a couple of theories of what's going to happen with the end of it. Again, no spoilers, but I am very curious to see if what I have floating around in my brain is actually going to be what happens. we'll see. But just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading it like at the wrong time, but I really don't know if I would be in the mood for it, if anything would change with that. So right now it may have dipped a little bit to like maybe even a 2.5 star, which kind of, it feels like wrong to say that. But anyway, 100 pages. Let's do this. We're going to finish it tonight. I am determined. So I'll check in with you in a bit. Okay, so I finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue last night, and I am so bummed to say this, but I did not like it. And I don't know if it's just because it was overhyped or if I had just certain expectations going into this book and they weren't met. I don't know what it was, but I really didn't enjoy it. I had mentioned this at the beginning that for the first several hundred pages, I was just really bored throughout it all, but then it kind of picked up and it got more interesting. However, after a while, it just kind of started to get boring again. And then it just never picked back up. So again, this is going to be completely spoiler free, but I really didn't like Addie, and I was kind of expecting that for someone who's lived 300 years that they might have a little bit more of a rounded personality or characteristics and traits and things like that. However, because we only saw kind of one big focal point of her characteristics, she felt very flat and one-dimensional for me. As for the other characters, I really wanted to like Luke a lot. However, there were a few things that happened that I just had a difficult time seeing past. And then as for Henry, for the most part, I did enjoy him, but he just kind of felt like he was there to carry on Addie's plot and to kind of develop her story. And I kind of feel like that was a disservice done to him because I think he was probably the most complex and interesting character. And we just didn't really get to see a whole lot. I also really struggled with the relationships, the love triangle and things like that. It just wasn't developed. I just kept asking myself, why do you like this person? What do you see in them that's interesting to you? And if you would explain that on paper, then I'll believe it. But you're not, and I just don't see it for myself. So I was kind of had a difficult time believing in or rooting for any of the relationships that were going on paper. As for the end, by the time I finished, I was just Addie is still selfish and self-serving, and that hasn't changed. She hasn't developed or changed at all. And I was just kind of frustrated by the end of it. So I recognize that the vast majority of people who have read this book absolutely love it. The Goodreads rating is insanely high, and I am so happy that this is a book that people can pick up and really love, can dive into and see and fall in love with and get to experience that. And so I love that. I don't want to discredit anyone for loving this book. It just wasn't for me. I'm more of a plot-driven reader, and I was hoping that with 300 years of life, we would get to travel more and see more exciting things, meet incredible people, see the way that Addie has left her mark on history. And that wasn't the focus of this book. So I think because that was my expectation going into it, that's what I really wanted. And then since it didn't happen, I was kind of left disappointed. So I'm by no means hating on anyone who loved this book. The writing is beautiful, and I can certainly see why a lot of people have fallen in love with this book, but unfortunately it just wasn't for me. So again, those were just a few of my thoughts. I try to keep them spoiler-free, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the book. Let me know why you loved it or why maybe you didn't. I'd be really interested in hearing your input on it as well. I'm now going to go ahead and put this into my bullet journal and write down some of my thoughts. So let's go ahead and do that real fast. All right, well, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, please leave a comment down below or feel free to DM us on Instagram at the Bibliovertpodcast, letting me know all of your reasons for absolutely loving this book or hating it. I would love to hear them and get to talk about this. But we also have a podcast, the Bibliovertpodcast, where we pick a book and talk about it. We have over 30 episodes. We primarily focus on YA and NA fantasy, but definitely go check that out. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Play. We also have a Patreon of the most incredible book-loving people ever, and we would love for you to come join us over there. The link for it is down below in the description box. But I hope you have a fantastic week. Happy reading, and I'll see you next time.